I'm just making noise because it always seems like the stream takes a minute or two to catch up. So I'm just making some noise to keep the sound going. La da 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 da. All right. Okay, everybody. So what we're looking at is probably about a 45-minute stream or so. I'm going to keep working on the Shodan image. I think that's my plan. Sorry, I'm just posting in various outlets. This should be very quick because I did preload everything in the background. So I think I should just be able to hit send on everything. Okay, that's everything. I think I've... Oh, one more place. Sorry. One more. I forgot. Just post this right there. And there we are. Okay, done. Nice and quick. So I'll put my phone aside. I've got my thing in place. Let me grab my iPad. Move that to where it needs to be. And as usual, I've already spotted some things wrong with Shodan that I gotta get fixed. So let's go ahead and get started. I won't wait too long tonight since it's a little bit short of a stream. Sorry, I'm moving my mic is off center. It's bugging me. So yeah. Okay. There we go. Wow, that was relatively smooth for what I usually do. Got all my posting done. I'm starting got the recording running in about a minute. Wow. That's rare. I mean, something else will blow up. Okay, I'm just checking. I want to check a few things on this image because circuit line work is okay. Wire details are okay. There's the face. Oh, that's fine. I thought some of those lines were off. The thing I don't like is I don't like this. This particular cable here doesn't look right at all to me. So let me jump into the face work for a minute and see where those lines are. Pretty sure they're separate. Let's see, where did I put those to? Okay, there we go. I'm going to take that. I'm going to do something interesting here. I'm going to... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. There's a mask on that? Wait. Wait, no, that's a different mask. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's eliminate the mask off that. We're going to do a very quick flip on this. Bang. Come on. Lock in. There. Because I need to get that, well, I don't know what else you'd call it, but eyebrow thing. I got to fix it. It's not right on the other one. So I'm just going to do this really quick. Let's drop the opacity down on that. I'm going to turn off all of the circuits. I'm going to turn off the background. Oh, no, I'll leave background color on. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn that off. And I'm going to turn off everything that is not these particular... Oh, yeah, you can see that's not right. Even though those I'm pretty sure were... No, there, I got it. So I just want to get rid of everything. Am I on paint? Let's max that brush up. Everything that isn't that particular eyebrow thing. Which should be pretty quick. Zoom that. Okay, all right, there we go. Bring that back down. Okay, now let's turn everything else back up to where it should be. Add everything back in, and I will fine-tune that little bit of, I don't need that, of what I was doing. Okay, so basically I gotta fix, yeah, see that cable? I gotta fix that cable. What I'm gonna do is, I can collapse the face. Circuits and wire, here we go. So what we got to do is collapse some of these things. So let's turn off 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is anything there connecting? Yes. Let's go to the mask. Let's get that. Let's mask that out. All right, let's bring in 2. 2 of anything. Yes. Let's go to that mask. Mask that out. Let's go to 3. Mask this out. Yeah, it looks like that. Let's go to 2. Okay, so here, I want to mask this out as well, and just make it where it ends before that. So right about there, we'll end that. Okay. And then where is that going? Let's see what that is. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's Now that one I think we're okay to keep. So we'll go back down to the face work. We'll go ahead and merge this down. It's not gonna, whoops. Merge down, please. Oh, I can't do that because of the mask. That's fine, it can just sit there. It's no problem. So on this, where is that particular little feature? Let's see, there it is. Let's just go ahead and erase this one little bit right there. And then we'll go back up to here. And that's going to come in here. So I'm going to let me go back. Sorry, I forgot. Let me go here. We're going to go ahead and erase this little bit right there. Let that blend into that line, or that cable, I guess. And then that one is what, number 1? Yes. So we need to get our brush. We need to switch to black. I probably use this one. Let's boost that up to, what, say 5? Yeah, it's 5. And we will just finish this a little bit off right, just because it doesn't... Oh, there's a mask there. That's why it's the mask. Okay, well, that's easy. So then we just paint the mask back out. There we go. Yeah, perfect. So that cable will go in right there, and that's fine. So we are... You know what? Maybe I should round it. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I think it's you know what the problem with this is? I can tell you what it is. It's too sharp. The line itself is too sharp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the line curve down. So just fold down like this. Then it looks, yeah, the angle's a little weird, but I got it. That's what has to happen to make it look like it should be there. Not like that though. I gotta get it right. Jeez. And there, that's it. Yep. So now that cable looks like it should be there. And we're good there. Okay. So now, let's go back into the black areas, which I believe are these. Yes. So let's go to level 42. And let's color in some more dark areas, just because I do like... Okay, that's a little too much. Let's back this down. 3 or so. There we are. Oh, sorry. There we are. Accidentally hit whatever the shortcut, I guess, is to close the whole thing. So sorry about that. Yeah. Made a decision earlier today. Nothing earth-shattering or anything. But, hold on a minute. I got this dust on this friggin' iPad. There we go. Okay. As part of my podcast, I have been doing 5-minute daily episodes for a really long time. And I enjoy doing them. Don't get me wrong. They are fun to do. But they are not always easy to do. Hold on, I just saw that line. That line's going to get fixed. That line does not look good. So we got... Actually, I could probably just delete that. That doesn't even need to be there. Whoop, done. But the 5-minute shows are tough. They're tough. I mean, it seems like nothing. And I remember when, you know... There are weeks where it is. There are weeks where I'm like, oh yeah, I got plenty to talk about. But probably just as many weeks there's not a lot going on. Or just stuff that I don't really feel like. And it's not that look, there's always stuff to talk about. There's always news items. There's always things going on in the world. All that stuff. But the idea of the fives was supposed to be that they were going to present something that was a little bit different than, you know, because you can go to any website and you can get a news item, right? There's nothing special about me reading a news article. There are shows where it's just people reading news articles sometimes, or you know, just 2 feet north of just reading news articles. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but it's not really for me. That's not really what I want to be doing. I want to actually have like something to say about it, something that feels like, okay, you came to listen to this 5 minutes. You used this 5 minutes because you think that I might have something to actually say, as opposed to just reciting a headline and then kind of giving you know, spending, let's say 3.5 of the 5 minutes just talking about the news article details, as opposed to my opinion on it and why I think something about it, or whatever. So that's that can be tricky. Not tricky, it can just be tough, because some weeks I just look at everything going on, and there's just slow weeks where I'm like, yeah, I don't really have anything to talk about. Fortunately, I usually have at least 1 or 2 movie reviews or comic book reviews or something like that. So it's not always a topic desert, but a lot of times I'm, until 30 minutes before I got to post the thing, I'm sitting here going, what am I going to talk about? I don't know. And so there's a degree of kind of stress to it, as much as that goes. Not real stress, don't get me wrong. This is not life-saving stuff that, nobody's going to die if I don't produce a 5 in a day. So all things within their proper perspective, but within the pressure I put on myself, I guess. So I thought about it, and because there's an irony too on the other side of this, which the late night shows that I do, which are, I love doing those. I've just had such a great time doing those, because I really believe, by just sheer luck, I really haven't done one of those that I think I didn't have a good time with. I really did. Even the ones that were, again, I'm using the word stressful in a specific way, but the stressful ones, which were the Adobe interviews, where I had a PR person on one of them, which are probably the most nerve-wracked I've been in doing a late night, where I was like, oh man, I gotta be really careful with this. But outside of those, and even those were just more of, okay, I just have to really stick. It was more of trying to contain myself within a certain way of conducting what in that case was actually an interview, as opposed to my normal just stream of consciousness, garbage thought way of doing things, because I just don't do things structurally. That's not my impulse. My impulse is to just say whatever comes into my head. Obviously within reason. I'm not talking about, crazy stuff. I'm just saying that I like to allow the flow of my thoughts to go wherever it goes, and I don't generally care if, I'm not aiming to have a topic list. I'm not aiming to make sure I ask these 5 important questions. I mean, I usually have a few things with people that I'm talking to for the first time where I'm like, okay, these are areas where I feel like if the conversation is starting to die off a little bit, I can kind of steer into. And, a lot of times, especially with people who have some type of subject matter expertise, something that they do, something they're interested in, whatever, if you steer them into that, then you can kind of just sit back for a few minutes and let them riff on it. And you don't have to worry about keeping the embers of the conversation stoked as intently as you do if there's these in-between moments. Anyway, but late nights, which I love doing, I usually don't get to do that many. And I don't like to do them that far ahead. That's another thing. I'm really particular about that, which is maybe a dumb thing, but it's just the way that I do stuff. I don't like to record a late night and then sit on it for 2 months. I really don't like doing that. Not because I'm not doing a topical show. It's nothing to do with anything like that. It's not like I'm going to sit there and go, oh man, we're going to be talking about this topic, and a week from now it's going to be old news. I'm not going to get the scoop, the skinny, the straight, whatever. It's not that. It's just that, I don't know, whenever I record these, I want people to hear them. I want people to hear them quick. So I don't like doing ones where I'm sitting on them for a while. And normally, to be completely honest about it, it's usually not a problem, because I normally don't, people have difficult schedules. They're making time to come on my show and talk for a couple hours with really I'm not going to bring anybody millions of viewers or listeners or anything like that. I can't pretend I will. I'm not some kind of mega influencer where you could understand why somebody might be like, oh yeah, no, I've got to talk to this person, because this person, this person could bring me a whole new audience. I could bring somebody a whole new audience, but it's probably not going to be millions of people. Unless I have some kind of huge stealth audience I'm not aware of, which, if so, please send me a letter and let me know, because I'd like to be aware you guys are out there, because I don't think you are. But so I'm always, I'm always surprised when anybody who doesn't know me in some way or hasn't had some kind of interaction with me actually, decides to come on the show, because I'm just sitting here going, yeah, I don't have much influence to wield here. The best I can offer is that I'm, not a lunatic. and that I generally think that I'm a okay person to talk to and try to make the show fun. So there is that effort. I don't, but beyond that, you know, there's not much I can. It's not like I can say, oh yeah, I will bring the full force of my follower account to bear to maximize your cross promotional synergies. Can't do it. Don't have it. So usually late nights are kind of few and far between because I basically tell anybody that I reach out to, hey, there's no rush. You're doing me a favor just by coming on. And a lot of times these people have actual work and better promotional opportunities to pursue. And so, again, I say this with no malice is meant by this, but I generally get put on the back burner. And I understand that. Again, because I don't have some kind of, if I had some kind of real clout to bring, it might be a different story, but I would really hope I wouldn't be one of those people. I still wouldn't want to be somebody who's like, hey, don't you know who I am? You're going to make time for me. I don't think I would be. Because I have not been in that position, if that changed tomorrow, I would really hope that I wouldn't suddenly become one of those monstrous, egotistical people who thinks that they're owed something when they're not owed anything. So I would hope I wouldn't be. But again, this is a very, very, very long-winded way of saying that usually I don't have a lot of late nights to stack on one another. Usually I just have them spaced out, and I might, I consider it lucky if I have 6 in the year. If I get 6 different people or 6 different late nights put together. And incredibly, this year I have a whole bunch. And they're all stacked within the same time frame. So I've had a really good year with them. I've had really great people, and I've had a number of different ones, all kind of in close proximity. I did the one with Jason Howell from Twit.tv not too long ago. Not too long before that was Ann Pruitt, also from Twit. I reconnected with a friend of mine from a long time ago, Doug Bielmeyer. That one just came out. We're going to be doing a series, and this is what I'm getting to. We're going to be doing a series of retrospectives on John Carpenter. That's going to be a 3-show set. Each show will be 2 movies. And then in the midst of all that, I'm going to try to talk to the authors of The Science of Agatha Christie, who also did The Science of Women in Horror, The Science of Stephen King, The Science of Serial Killers, and The Science of Monsters, I believe, if I'm getting those all off of memory, which would be astonishing because my memory is terrible. And I want to talk to them, or one or 2 of them, whichever or whoever's available. I want to do that in October because Halloween. And something came to me because I'm just sitting here going, I have no space to put these. This is a rare case where I have all this content. Ugh, I want to say that. That word has taken on a very negative meaning for me. I have all these hours of material. Talking to people I have a lot of fun talking to, and I don't know where to put them, and I don't just want to sit on them until, the stuff that we're talking about, because, again, we're not topical, but we talk about things that are of the moment, and you can generally, if you pay attention, tell when it roughly was recorded. So then I had another one with Marco Merrick and Andy Last. Andy Last is the main host over at Beyond Synth, and then Marco Merrick is basically does his Power Hour show with him, and then is usually part of his family shows. And Marco also has a very well-known history in the synth scene of running a very, very long-running, and when I say long-running, I don't mean simply amount of time that the show was active, but also the show itself being hours and hours long. So I like talking to those guys, and I haven't talked to them in a couple of years. Andy, at one point I had on every year, and then, he's had some stuff going on, nothing too serious, but I think at one point he moved and he was retooling his show and things, it's how it goes. It's just how it goes. Is that you don't even realize that a long amount of time has gone. And Marco was the same. I hadn't talked to him in a couple of years. And I finally managed to get a time where the 2 of them could come on together. And I got the show recorded, and we talked for like 2.5 hours straight. Had a great time. And I recorded that show, I want to say, 2 months ago now. And I haven't had anywhere to put it. I just haven't anywhere where it would fit. So that, along with the fact that I'm doing these John Carpenter shows, and the fact that the 5s are a little bit I'm a little bit burned out on them at the moment. You know, I just kind of need a break from them. So I thought, you know what? Okay, we're gonna make October a super late night mega series, whatever, where I'm just gonna basically not do the daily shows for the month, and instead I'm gonna release these longer shows at a semi-regular interval, so that every week you're gonna have at least, I would say 4 to 5 hours of audio, if not more. And so I can utilize that show with Marco and Andy. I will do the shows that I'm, the Carpenter shows. Hello, AT Magic. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by the stream and saying hello. Most people don't say hello, which is fine. People can stay silent. I don't mind. But hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is where you are. Thanks for stopping by as I sit here rambling about my shows and how I'm making scheduling decisions, which is honestly what I've been talking about now for, let's see, 20 minutes. But whatever. Yeah, so it's a way to kind of keep my mind occupied while I'm doing this stuff. So what I'm working on, I don't know if you've been here the whole time or not, but I'm doing the black areas on my Shodan image here. How big is this image? I'm trying to remember when I made this image. Let's take a look. I'm curious. This is 18 by 22 at printable size. Well, I'm just filling in black areas here. That's what I'm doing. Because at some point I would like this to be something that I put up for sale. And put on a t-shirt, which I will probably buy myself. So that's about it. Just doing my usual Wednesday stream here. Rambling and doodling. That's the things I do best. So yeah, October is going to be basically a very packed full of late nights and long shows and specials month, which I don't think we've done something like that in quite a while. I don't know that we've ever done one like this. I say we. I. And Lando's my co-host, but he doesn't really care what I do in terms of scheduling or anything else. I think he's more amused by the fact that I take it so seriously. And he really doesn't, that's not a negative. It's just, I think he looks at it, he's like, yeah, you know, you want to really structure this. Okay, go for it. But, yeah, so it is going to be a very late night, watch me. Well, I generally, to be honest, a lot of these things, what I have in mind is posters, coffee mugs, although those are really specific pieces, and t-shirts. Because that's the stuff I like to buy artwork on. Unfortunately, I have really no room for posters anymore because I've bought so many. So I don't really know where I'd even hang them. But that's generally it. I mean, I make things that... Generally, when I do these things, I tend to format them in a way that would work for a poster or something like that, or on a shirt. Like this, I will eventually do a vignette around the outside, you know, kind of like that, and make it where it'll fade into whatever color shirt it goes on, because I like to... I know some artists like to be very specific about their... Like, if they do a shirt, they want their artwork on a black shirt, or a white shirt, or a green shirt, or whatever. I don't generally do that. I tend to just want people to be able to buy whatever color they want. So I like to make my images either self-contained inside of a frame, or I like to make them where they're kind of compatible with almost any color. Although there are... The one thing that I did, and I got to figure out another way to do this, because I actually thought this was kind of a clever idea. I don't know if it's in this. Let me see. Let me see if it's in here. Okay, yeah, it was this one. This image, I actually really like what I did with this one, I have to admit. So what I did was, for the shirt, for the shirts, well, actually, I can show you using the background. So let me make the background a blue color. All right, so if I make the background a blue color, all right, so let's say this blue that you're looking at here, let's say this is the shirt, right? For stream, but can't use the bucket to splash color. Well, you know what? Actually, in Procreate, yeah, but it works really weirdly. I've never quite gotten the hang of that. I don't think it works the same way it does in Photoshop. where I know what you mean, where you could just click on an area and as long as it's bordered in with like a black line, then it'll fill in. But it doesn't really work that way. Right, so this one. So I made 2 versions of this. So this is actually, you can buy this on a shirt. So the first version is what you're seeing here. So imagine that the back here is a blue shirt. So the color is basically the gray hand and a white iPod, right? Then I did a second version where all I did was drop out the background and then put the frame. So now on those shirts with this design, let's say you got a blue shirt. Well, now you have a blue iPod. Oh, well, you bought it on let's say a green shirt. Okay, well, now you have a green iPod. So basically the color, but not, but the hand and everything stays the same. So the color shifts depending on what shirt you buy if you buy this design. So I made 2 versions of it. I want to do something else like that. I don't quite have an idea for it yet, but maybe, I don't know, something where the color changes. The image accommodates different colored shirts. That's the idea. So I do want to do that again. I just haven't figured out what it's going to be the next time. Okay, back to Shodan. Let's go back to Shodan up here. Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. I don't, that may be very common. I haven't seen a lot of designs that do something like that. I mean, I'm sure there are. I'm not pretending I'm the first person that's come up with that idea. But I really kind of, I thought that was, I was like, oh, okay. I like the idea that the person who buys it gets to inject a little bit of the color that they like or the style of the thing that they like into the image. It doesn't have to necessarily be an image that I'm dictating top to bottom what somebody looks at. The idea of artwork being interpreted by the person who looks at it, I really like that idea. I like people being able to look at something and seeing somebody sees it one way and somebody sees it another. And even if it's just a t-shirt color, that's one way to do that. So, yeah, I thought I was happy when I came up with that. I don't really remember how I thought of it because I don't think I saw somebody else who had done it. I think I just kind of, might have been because I was messing around with the background color to do something and noticed that it was, that I hadn't turned the layer on. But yeah, I kind of like that. Even though I think the one I bought was the one with the solid color. Because I do tend to buy my own designs because I actually do like them. The t-shirt stuff, I mean, I've bought way too many coffee mugs that I've designed. A ridiculous amount. I have more coffee mugs than I'm ever going to need in my life. Because I'll think of a mug design and I'll just get it. Because I just think it's a neat design. It's the stupidest thing. I end up giving them away to people. And people are always very appreciative. So it's fine, but it's just one of those things where you sit there and go, geez, stop buying them. Just stop buying them. Make the design and see if anybody else wants it. But you don't have to buy it. But, I say that. Next week I could buy one. So, it's just what I do. So yeah, I want to get these black images, the black areas on this one filled in. But yeah, in general, I don't think, did I get the right? Yeah, I did. When you say, what do I make art for? Just because. Just because I can. And there may be a day where, I could get into a car accident and my hand could get destroyed and I could never draw again. Kind of have recurring nightmares about that. So I kind of think, you know what? Even if nobody buys anything that you put a design on and even if nobody ever sees it, so what? Do it anyway. Because you just don't know. And at some point assuming I get old, if I live long enough, there'll be a point where I'll probably not have the motor control to do it anymore. So why not just do it? And people seem to like watching this stuff. That's good too. I like people to because not everybody can draw. Not everybody can create artwork for any number of reasons. So if they get something out of watching me sit here and do all these little lines and color and all this stuff, that's great. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I say that it's definitely not like I came up with that idea, but I just have to figure out some other design, something that works. I just have to, it's very tough to come up with certain ideas at times, it's like but this one, like you say, as far as poster, like this will end up being fine for a poster. And what I'll probably do is I'll have one version that's going to look like this. And this will just be exactly how you see it with all of the lines going to the edge. And that one will be designed for a poster. The one that I end up wanting to be on a shirt I will want the edges of this will kind of fade off, because I don't like the idea of a square thing. Ugh. Yeah, you know, I appreciate that. Thing is, the Grateful Dead have access to, I'm sure, so many artists. They certainly, I mean, I'm not going to say they would never come knocking on my door, but I'm pretty sure they probably have plenty of people to work with. But then again, you know, I would have said the same thing about Magic, and they found me. So I would not mind, because I did do an image that is kind of a Grateful Dead-y type of thing, which is this one, the mushroom one. You know, this is kind of a psychedelic and 60s, 70s type of thing. I honestly just like it because I really like how all that shading worked out. I don't normally shade things like that, so it worked out really well. I was really thrilled with that image, and I don't like mushrooms, you know, at all. I don't generally like looking at them, and I don't like eating them. That's just me. So it was a weird image, but it kind of popped into my head one day. Just this image of a mushroom just sitting in front of a very lava lampy looking background, and I just knocked it out. It was a weird thing. But sometimes ideas come from strange places, and sometimes ideas that... And when I originally did that image, I drew it... Actually, the way that image started out was it was going to be a joke image of Doctor Doom from the Marvel Comics. Oh, thank you. I have to admit, I really did like the shading on that, because I don't usually do shading that way. It's just not generally how I do it. But originally, it was a pair of it was 3 mushrooms, and the mushroom in the center... I've done 3 Magic cards, yeah. Yeah. I did the, for the Dominaria United set, I did the stained glass versions of Sheoldred, well, they're all stained glass. What was the character? They changed the name. I believe the character is now called Lagamos, if I'm pronouncing that right. And then Elos or Elos. I'm pronouncing these wrong. Ilkor. So like I said, they did the stained glass versions of those, and those 3 characters I did stained glass for. Yeah. Yeah, and they just randomly found me, because I don't know anybody who's a Magic artist. I didn't have any type of insider connections or anything. And the art director for... Well, one of the art directors, I should say, not like the only one. One of the art directors for that particular project happened to see my work over on the Adobe Behance site. And I have one image. One. Yeah, no, you know what? Honestly, I don't know anything about Magic. I'll just be honest. I don't know anything about Magic. I never played it. I never played D&D, anything like that. It was just never something I played. I mean, I knew what it was. It's too big a thing not to know what it is, you know? But I didn't know any of the characters. I only knew the basics of it. And so, you know, when the AD, the art director, she said, okay, well, she said, you know, I'm going to give you some of the more horror-based ones, because a lot of my artwork is kind of sort of aligned that way. Not like horror imagery, but like the zombie hands, that kind of thing. So I can draw darker stuff. I tend to do all right with it. And so when she said, okay, here's the characters, and she gave me the characters, and they give you materials to look at and that type of thing. And I looked at Sheoldred. I was like, oh, okay, but the version, it's really kind of a weird... It's weird that I did the image that I did, because I think maybe the fact that I didn't really know much about the character, I didn't worry too much about trying to keep it too close to what other people had done. Because a lot of Sheoldred images, when you look at them, are kind of insect-based. The way that she's basically like at the top of... Because her body is kind of this insectoid thing. But I really didn't know anything about it, so I kind of went, all right, well, the thing that I looked at is I was like, oh, the helmet with the horns. I was like, oh, that's neat. And the idea that she controlled, you know, other beings. So that was really where I went with it, where if I had known about the character, I don't know that I would have stretched as far from the concepts that other people have done with her. So I'm kind of glad I didn't know anything. But yeah, man, people love that character. And I mean, I like her now too. because I read about the character and all that stuff, and visually she's really interesting. But yeah, I mean that's it's not like I knew what kind of character I was getting. I didn't know how powerful the card was or anything. That's purely the AD. She thought I was a good fit for it. So that's who gets the credit. Certainly not me. And I'm just really happy that people like the artwork. And people really do like it. So yeah, and I mean, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know anything about this world, so I didn't know anything about artist proofs or anything like that. You know, I didn't know what was all involved in that, so that's all been new to me, and everybody's been really nice about it. And I'm going to be selling more of them next year. I just took a break, mostly because I didn't want to get annihilated in my taxes, honestly. The Dolby site findings. The Dolby site findings. The Dolby site findings. Crap, I lost my train of thought. That's okay. What was I? The Dolby site. The Dolby site. No, I don't remember. See, this is the problem with the way that I think. I have no train of thought. I lose it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. If I remember it, I'll get back to it. If not, it was probably nothing important to begin with. But yeah, the magic thing was really neat. It's been continually really neat. And now there's one artist whose name, I think it's Lisa. I want to say Lisa Heildorf. I'm probably mispronouncing that or saying it wrong. She just got her APs, and her work is just spectacular. I mean, there's so many. The only thing that's intimidating about doing Magic cards is you just realize how great a lot of the artists that do Magic stuff are. Still really just astonishing to me that I have a card in that library whatsoever. Because I just look at some of the stuff these people do. Because I can't paint. You know? And these people do these really, really detailed paintings. It's really beautiful stuff. And I'm just sitting there going, how do you do it? How do you even come up with that? Because I mean, I paint a little bit. But when I tell you it is the most lightweight type of painting, it's basically just following along with Bob Ross, because that's basically painting that anybody can do. That's where the power of it comes from. Is it's very easy and accessible. You know, because I don't have the. Oh yeah, well, so am I. But I mean, it really is just stunning to look at some of this. I mean, there's no bad art. Really, there's not. If somebody appreciates it, no matter what, it's not bad art. If you find one person who looks at something that you create and they get something out of it, then you've done something. So that's the nice part, is there is a real nice variety in Magic stuff. I mean, there's a heavy variety. But yeah, I understand that. The kind of older, again, kind of classic D&D type illustrations, Frank Frazetta type stuff, although he was a painter. But that type of hand-drawn thing. Yeah, I know what you mean. I would assume that at some point they will probably do something where they're going to have a whole run that is the more the older style stuff. I'd be very surprised if that's not already in the works in some way, where they want to have kind of a throwback series. They'd probably do it for an anniversary or something like that. That's a guess. I don't know. I have no insider info on that. I'm just guessing. I know nothing about it. I'm just saying if it was me and I was running things, I'd be looking at doing that. Because yeah, I think a lot of people like the older stuff. It's always nice to you know, it's kind of if you look back, and I mean, this is really going to date me, but whatever. I'm the age I am. I'm 45. I can't do nothing about it. But arcade cabinets, I really love the old arcade cabinets, the old Atari stuff, the old. I mean, just from the very beginning of the first golden age of arcades, where you just had these really beautiful illustrations that people would do, because the games themselves, the graphics were so minimal that, you know, it's not like now where it's all lifelike graphics where everything looks fantastic. I mean, I'm playing Starfield, and there's moments in that game where it's like, whoa, man, this is a ways away from the old Super Mario Brothers stuff. Even though there's a place for that too. There's a lot of nice retro games that come out and people like them. But back when it was Atari and that was kind of all there was, or the early primitive arcade cabinets that were in places, the graphics barely looked like what they were supposed to be. You know, Space Invaders is a rare case where it kind of looks like what it's supposed to be, but even there. Or like Yar's Revenge. There's one. Look up the artwork for Yar's Revenge. Y-A-R' Revenge. What a beautiful piece of artwork, and so really specific and full of personality. It's such a gorgeous piece of artwork. I have a really great Atari art book, which I can't remember the author, but if you find, you can search for the Atari art book, or the Art of Atari, I believe is actually what the book's called, the Art of Atari. There is not a bad one. Not the Art of the Chaos in the boxes. Yeah, no, it carried 95% of it because the graphics just were not there. You know, now it's kind of the opposite. Now it's, you don't really, I mean, box art is still important and it's still done, although that's going to decline as more and more games go digital, which is its own separate kind of sad thing that we're losing physical media with a lot of things because, but that's the way the world goes. What are you going to do? But yes, definitely in the older stuff when graphics were very, very, very bare bones, you sold the concept of the game through that artwork. And the nice part about that Art of Atari book is it has a lot of alternate unused pieces where they had they had one idea for what the cabinet was going to look like and then it got changed. Or the artist did one version of it and then they looked at it and said, no, we got to add this or take this off, or, it doesn't look right, or the colors are wrong or whatever. So you see some of the sketches of it, because that's always the interesting part to me is, well, what was the initial concept? What was the first draft this person put down? Were they really close to it, or did they have to revise and revise and revise? Because different artists do it different ways. There are artists who really can get the concept in their head and they can do a sketch, and that sketch is 75 to 80% of what the final image will be. It's amazing. It's amazing when I see people who can do that. And that's a rare skill, to be able to just have it, picture it in your head, and be able to actualize it pretty close to where it's going to be, where you could really just run off it. I wish I had more of that skill. That occasionally happens, but at least half of the stuff where I end up with a finish, like this is a case where I kind of did that, because Shodan is sort of an established look. So somewhat easy to get a baseline off of this. But a lot of my other ones, honestly, are accidents. They're sketches or doodles, and it goes off in some weird direction, and then for some reason I like it. But it's usually not nearly as planned as I think some other people are able to do. I just do not have that particular ability. It's okay. It's not really a complaint, just an observation about myself. Oh, sure. Thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. Have a good time at, well, I don't know if anybody has a good time at work, but have a productive and well-paid day of work or evening, whatever it is. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Yeah, which is actually good. Where are we? Oh, we're right about the 45-minute mark, so it's actually good. We're getting pretty close to where I want to stop anyway. Well, I have a lot of black areas still to do on this thing. But it's getting there. It's getting there. This is how it goes. It's always this way. You chip away at little pieces, and that's the other thing is, man, I look at some of the stuff that people do, and I just think about how many hours of work and hours of work had to go into that, and I just, oh boy. And I mean, I do it too. I've done pieces that take a long time, but whoa. When I look at some of this stuff, somebody linked something over on Instagram to me today about this person doing this painting. The painting was just, I mean, it was so gorgeously done. It is like it's like magic when I see how some people can paint. It's like looking at somebody doing sorcery. And I was looking at this painting this person was doing, and I was just so floored by how beautifully done it was. And then I was just thinking about, wow, how long has this individual been working on that image? That person has been working on that, I guarantee, quite a while. And, man. I mean, it's great. It's an awesome painting. No doubt about it. It was just wonderful to look at. Because it has this style of painting, and I'm sure there's a name for it. I don't know what it is. I'm not that much of an art historian. But it looked like it was oil painting to me. If it was acrylic, wow. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people who can do that type of acrylic, but it looked like it was oil because of the kind of blending for it. But it had that really smooth and just seamless oil blending that some people, they just can do it really well. And yeah, it's beautiful. I don't remember the artist's name. I don't think I saw the actual name. I was too caught up in being amazed at what the work was itself. But I should have gotten the name so I could have at least mentioned it. So I'm sorry about that. Try to remember to get it for the next stream, but I will probably forget because, as I've mentioned at least once, my memory is not that great. Really isn't. All right, and I think we're going to go ahead and fill this in. Let's fill this in. We'll take a quick look at where we are. Oh, you know what I should do? I should at least finish this particular stretch right here, because this is all connected. So let's finish this up. And at that point, I will be ready to break for this particular stream. But it was nice to have somebody come by and chat a bit. It's not a requirement. I don't want anybody, if they're coming by and they're not talking, that's fine. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to say something. You absolutely do not. But it is nice once in a while to have somebody that, you know, is going back and forth and not just me talking into empty space. Yeah. All right, let's finish this out. Real easy. Switch over. And I think, oh, look at that. I don't want to leave any empty spots. Let me get all the spots filled in that were at least partially started. Let's see. Okay. Yep, we're getting there. We are getting there. Not going to be quick, but it will get done. So yeah, I think that's a good place to break for this particular stream. So thank you to AT Magic for coming by and talking for a bit. Thank you anybody who's watching this either right now or later on. It doesn't make any difference to me when you experience this. Just hope you have a good time when you do. And as I always say, if you can, get out there and be creative. Try to. Creativity can take a lot of different forms, but I think it's good for you in whatever form you happen to find it. And yeah, so we'll plan to be back for our normal stream in a week, if you're watching this live. Usually do them on Wednesdays. And that will be the plan. So thank you for coming by and spending a little time as I doodle here and ramble there. And if you can be creative, go out there and be creative. Or if you can't and enjoy some more creativity, I'm sure there's lots of other streams and lots of other videos of people making artwork. Go, you know what? Here is your homework assignment, as if I give out homework. Go find an artist that you've never looked at before. Just randomly search for art that seems like something you would like. See if you can find a new favorite artist, because there's really nothing quite like it. It's great to find somebody whose work you never saw before. And go and send that person an email or a note and tell them you appreciate it, because I can tell you, there's nothing like somebody saying they like your work. It never, well, at least for most people, I think it never becomes something that you get used to, and it's always great. All right, on that note, thank you for coming by and enjoying the stream, and I hope you have a creative day in some way. I didn't mean to rhyme that, but that's what I did. So thanks for stopping by and watching the stream. We'll see you again next time, and take care.